up on Cronkite Sports Live, we've got reaction to ASU's loss against Texas A&M.
Plus, we got our coach and player spotlights of the week that you won't want to miss.
And we take a look at why Sun Devil Volleyball is a top 10 team. Welcome into the season debut of Cronkite Sports Live, your home for pattern ties and Sun Devil sports. I'm Jason Chesley.
And I'm Mauricio Casillas. We've got a lot of Sun Devil news in our opening show, but we kick things off with the football team and the season opener that didn't live up to the hype. After a 38-17 loss to Texas A&M, it's back to the drawing board. The Sun Devils were exposed on national television, and not a whole lot was working for them. Quarterback Mike Bercovici threw for only 199 yards, his lowest total in 4 career starts. But that, of course, was due in large part to the fact that he was sacked 9 times in the game. Arizona State head coach Todd Graham acknowledged that the Aggies were keying in on the offense's cadence.
Evan and Billy, they did some really good things. What we did really, really poorly is allow the guys to jump the count. I mean, I don't care who's playing tackle. You can't allow people to do that. And that's something that, with the crowd noise, was an issue. But it's something that we also have a plan for, and we didn't do a very good job of executing that plan.
And now for more on the state of Sun Devil football, we bring in reporter Zach Pocklub. Zach, offensively, not a lot of things were going well for the Sun Devils. A lot of sacks, not a lot of yards. What was the issue there?
Well, there's a lot of clamor complaining about Mike Norvell not making a lot of adjustments, but it's very difficult to make adjustments when you lose the battle in the trenches, and that's exactly what happened. And looking at what the production numbers were for ASU's offense, it wasn't even close to what Mike Bercovici and Mike Norvell had in his 3 starts last season, half the amount of passing yards. The running game never really gets going with Bercovici. They're still trying to find ways to adjust that, and it just was an uncharacteristic performance for Arizona State's offense.
Now, Zach, how are the A&M tackles able to key in on that Sun Devil cadence? We heard Coach Todd Graham talk about it. It was a big issue for the Sun Devil offense.
Well, what was happening was Nick Kelly, the center, was tipping off the snap count. And that's what Texas A&M's defensive ends, Deshaun Hall and Miles Garrett, were keying in on. I mean, there was a lot of times where Bercovici was hurried. They weren't allowed to let the routes develop. What was happening was Nick Kelly was pumping the ball. He was letting his head up. And they were letting the clock run down a little bit too quick or too low, and so they knew the snap was coming, and so there's havoc in the backfield. They weren't able to bounce outside because there's havoc in the interior. And so when that happens, you just can't have you can't execute your offensive game plan.
Now moving forward, ASU's got a game against Cal Poly tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. What are the Sun Devils going to have to do to improve? Well,
Cal Poly isn't the physical, imposing defense that Texas A&M is, but they're opportunistic. Against Montana, they forced 3 interceptions, and they forced 5 fumbles, 2 of which they recovered. ASU has to make sure that they take care of the football. They fumbled 5 times, they lost 2 of them, and so they have to make sure that they can hold on to the football and make sure they make the most of their opportunities, because Cal Poly runs that triple option, they can suck the clock down. So when you're playing behind against a triple option, you have to make the most of your opportunities because they won't come very often.
Again, that game tomorrow night, ASU Cal Poly, the season opener at 8 p.m. You can catch all the action on the Pac-12 networks. Zach Pocklub with the latest on Sun Devil football.
Thanks.
The school's other football team, that's Sun Devil Soccer for us Americans, they're off to a hot 3-0 start to competitive play this season. Thus far, they haven't really struggled against opponents, but they've yet to play any particularly challenging opposition. Hey, when you put up 11 goals and allow none through, what's it really matter who you play? The focal point instead is consistency.
I want consistency. I want our effort to be the same every time we play. I want our team to put an extremely high effort onto the field. And then I want us playing the same way that we've been playing regardless of the opponent.
First-year ASU swim coach Bob Bowman will be spending next summer in Brazil. On Wednesday, Bowman was named the U.S. Olympic men's swimming coach for Rio 2016. Now, Bowman is no stranger when it comes to training Olympic athletes. He's been an assistant coach for the past 3 Olympics and perhaps is most famous for training 22-time Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps, who, as we know, loves Subway sandwiches. Now, Bowman kicks off his Sun Devil career on October 3rd in a meet against the University of the Pacific.
Michael Phelps does love Subway
Absolutely.
sandwiches.
He loves it. He likes the jalapenos on them, too.
You know what I love? Not Subway.
Ooh, okay.
I love tweets.
Hot take.
I love social media. Dom Contronio does too. He's here.
I'm a Quizno guy myself, guys. I don't know about
Wow.
you. Subway is up there. It's the convenience of it being so close, but Quizno's all the way. Maybe even Firehouse up there as well. But I'm here to talk about Twitter, not about sandwiches. Right now, we got a serious tweet to start things out with, but really, at the end of the day, it's really a shame that we have to talk about this from the official Sun Devils Twitter account, warning fans not to tweet straight to the student athletes after that loss to Texas A&M. Guys, this is a tough thing to talk about, but shed light on this. What was the time that you got angrily tweeted at?
Well, yeah, it's funny, actually. I've been angrily tweeted at for some soccer coverage that I did in the past, covering AZ United, the professional soccer team here. I think it's unwarranted, but really, what really grinds my gears is when people are whining and complaining about these Sun Devil athletes. Again, they're student athletes. You should not be whining to them. If you're going to complain at anyone on Twitter, which you really shouldn't do, it should probably be the coaches.
And props to the Sun Devil Twitter account for tweeting that out. It's a great idea. Maybe some of the Cronkite Sports can do that next time any U of A hockey fans threaten to punch me in the face.
Oh, yeah, we've definitely heard that, our share of those on a hockey broadcast, Jason. But now we go to our second tweet. My sport that I cover, baseball. Colby Woodmansey, starting shortstop for the Sun Devils. He gets his brand new Wilson glove. ASU is one of only 4 schools in the country that gets this kind of treatment from Wilson ball gloves. Any critiques on the glove, guys? He's got the super skin going on there. Not much maroon and gold going on, though.
No, not enough maroon and gold. And honestly, I thought two-tone went out in like the 90s.
Everyone likes a little old school flair.
I don't know about that. I mean, I really haven't seen someone that excited about a Wilson product since Tom Hanks. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, Wilson's a pretty good glove. Only 4 schools, LSU, Vanderbilt, and UC Irvine are the other 3. So now our last tweet. Well, it's not a tweet, actually. It's Instagram, a platform that I am very poor at. It is ASU Gymnastics. Dance to some Beyonce.
Give me some!
You know, that begs the question, though, guys. What's your favorite Beyonce song? She just celebrated a birthday over the past weekend.
It's tough to say. You know, it's not my personal favorite, but I really respect the virality. I hope that's a word. If not, I just invented a word of all the single ladies.
Oh, absolutely. Jason, I could not agree more with you. Single ladies is the way to go. Beyonce, you changed the game. You had the best music video of all time. Sorry, Taylor Swift.
Ah, geez, yeah. No, see, I'm going to go Love on Top. I think that's a very underrated music video as well. But that's all I got this week in the land of social media. Hope you guys close out the show strong.
Thanks, Dom. Now, Dom, if hosting social media segments was a sport, you might be a candidate for this week's Player Spotlight. But alas, it's not, and you aren't. Sun Devil soccer forward Allie Moon, however, is eligible, and her performance against Stephen F. Austin last Friday was good enough to lead her into the spotlight. Moon scored her 3rd goal of the season, which was the game-winning goal against SFA. Now, Moon really made a splash in her freshman year. She scored 10 goals for the Sun Devils and was named to the all-freshman team in the Pac-12. She keeps up the pace. She's going to score even more goals and figures to be a key piece for this Sun Devil offense.
As for our coach spotlight, that belongs to ASU volleyball head coach Jason Watson. Not only did his team avoid sending Sun Devil Nation into a spiral of despair, unlike some ASU sports teams, they put together an impressive 7-0 start en route to a top 10 national ranking, including a 3-0 sweep over number 9 ranked Colorado. Now that very exciting Sun Devil volleyball team, they're just one game into a 9-match homestand, so you folks, that's you at home, can check out the nationally ranked team right here in Tempe. The team is led by record setter Macy Gardner. She just became the 10th Sun Devil to record 1,000 digs and kills in her career. Now she's a senior, but it's still early in the season, and she continues to improve.
Her overall game is just getting better and better and better. I mean, I think she's passing really well. I think she's blocking better than she ever has, and you may not see it, but I really like her so.
For more, we welcome in the web streaming voice of Sun Devil Volleyball. It's our very own Troy Lynch. Troy, thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me, Jason.
Now, Troy, we talked about how successful this volleyball team's been so far, but they had a little stumble against an unranked Northern Arizona team. What happened?
Well, you got to look at when they were playing former number 9 Colorado State. That was the best volleyball that they've ever played, and that just goes to show how much potential and how good this team can really be. But when they played Northern Arizona in that second set, head coach Jason Watson said that was the worst volleyball that they have played all season, and a big part of that is because they only set their best outside hitter, Macy Gardner, 8 times in the first 2 sets. 3 kills off of that, that's just way too low. And in the second 2 sets, she got set 29 more times, resulting in 8 more kills. She had 11, which was a team high on that day. That's the real Macy Gardner we all know about, and that's why they need to set her more, because when they set Macy, they win.
Macy Gardner, the best player on Sun Devil Volleyball. The Sun Devil is the best blocking volleyball team in the country. I know that was a big focal point, something Coach Watson said they needed to improve on coming out of last year. They've turned it around very dramatically, though.
Yeah, they have a new offensive system that they're running right now. They've transitioned from a 5-1 that they've ran the last few years under senior setter Bianca Ariano, but this year they're going with a 6-2. That means 2 setters in the back row, 2 opposites in the front row, where they got Brielle Bailey and Kizzy Reisdorf, both 2 opposites over 6 feet tall, a huge blocking presence. In the last game against the Lumberjacks, Brielle Bailey had 10 total blocks. That was her season high, and she's just on a tear. And pairing them up with Whitney Follett and Mercedes Binns, everybody in the front row is over 6 feet tall. That's why they're the best blocking team in the nation.
You bring up that 6-2 style of offense. That brings a second setter onto the court. That setter is a true freshman, however, and Kylie Pickrell. How's she benefited from this?
Well, you see, we kind of knew that Kylie Pickrell was going to be one of those impact freshmen at the very beginning of this season. She was a Max Preps Player of the Year nominee her senior year of high school, which only 18 girls out of the entire country are named to. And then this year, she's already on a roll. 127 assists, which she actually leads the teams over her senior counterpart, Bianca Ariano. She has 43 digs opposed to Ariano's 66, but their stats are so similar. And knowing that a freshman can produce these kind of numbers this early on, you know when Bianca Ariano graduates at the end of the year that for the next 3 years, the Sun Devils is going to have a plentiful amount of good setting.
Well, that's it. If you want to see Pickrell, Ariano, Gardner, the whole gang, hey, even Troy Lynch, you can check out Sun Devil Volleyball taking on Gonzaga this Sunday.
As we mentioned earlier in the show, the football team is hosting Cal Poly tomorrow night, and there's one veteran receiver in particular that's willing to do whatever it takes to help ignite the offense. WCSN football reporter Elaine Wilson has more.
Passing yards a game in 2014, the Sun Devils sputtered in receiving against Texas A&M with only 199 passing yards total. Enter redshirt senior Gary Chambers, who looks to have more of an impact on receiving in the upcoming Cal Poly game.
You know, any way possible, whether it's blocking, whether it's route running and catching, whether it's just bringing up my teammates, however I can help, I plan on helping wherever the coaches need me or wherever my teammates need me. I plan on helping. Special teams is definitely a key thing that we're focusing on. So hopefully I can, get out there and do some things that way, but just all over the field, hopefully.
With the loads of talent with DeMario Richard and DJ Foster in the backfield and Ellis Jefferson, Devin Lucian, and Gary Chambers all receiving, Gary Chambers expects there to be a lot of people distributing their talent during the Cal Poly game.
Definitely take pride in having a really balanced offense, and we got to run the ball, to establish pretty much anything on the offensive side, and we got talent all around the field, so we're going to make sure we utilize everyone and spread all the talent we have out around.
With the loss against Texas A&M last week, ASU looks to get back on track with a win over the Cal Poly Mustangs this Saturday. From Tempe, I'm Elaine Wilson, Cronkite Sports Live.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael Barron, and it's time for the weekend forecast. It's been a quieter week in the world of ASU sports. Only 3 sports taking place, starting with women's soccer versus Pepperdine in the Arizona Cats Classic in Tucson today at 4:30. Then tomorrow, it's ASU football's home opener at 8 o'clock. And then Sunday, women's soccer faces Texas Tech at 11 o'clock a.m. And volleyball is at Wells Fargo Arena to battle Gonzaga at 2. That's all for this weekend's forecast. Back to Mal and Jason at the desk.
New school year, new weekend forecast, and a new run at a segment we hold near and dear to our hearts. We call it The Way It Is. Now, Mauricio and I, we're going to take turns asking each other our opinions on some topics related to Sun Devil sports. It's one-sentence questions, one-sentence answers. Whoever gives the best answers wins, and, well, they get to monologue on whatever their heart so desires. Everyone ready? Mal?
Ready.
Let's do it. Mal, which Sun Devil senior athlete is more iconic in their respective fall sports? Soccer's Callie Farquharson, volleyball's Macy Gardner.
Jason, you can't really go wrong with any of these two athletes. Both figure to potentially be some of the best athletes in their respective sports. Callie Farquharson, I'm going to have to go with her. 37 goals already on the season, Jason. 13 away from beating Stacey Tulloch's number. Hard to go against Callie Farquharson. Now, Jason, ASU loses to Texas A&M in the season opener. Everyone's sad about that, but there's plenty of other fall sports coming up. Which are you most excited for?
All right, so we spent the summer glamorizing 2 Devils in particular. Burko, he's lost already, but the guy who wears Yeezy boots has not gotten started yet. Come quickly, Coach Bobby Hurley at ASU basketball. I love Yeezys. It's always fun watching everyone point fingers after an ASU football loss, but hey, this time after that A&M loss, doesn't seem like there's a consensus. So, Mauricio, I got to ask you, who's taking the blame for this one?
That's a great question, Jason. I have to say it lands on the play of the two senior guards that just could not stop Myles Garrett and Deshaun Hall. When it comes down to it, Berkovici did play a pretty solid game, but when you're sacked 9 times, you fumble 4 times, there's just no freaking way that you can get a win. Now, Jason, ASU hockey back on the ice has already sold out all of its season tickets. Pretty exciting stuff for the team. Do you believe that people here in the Valley of the Sun, are ready to embrace hockey? Sorry, Yotes.
Sorry, Yotes. Now, I'm an impartial journalist. Everyone knows that. But this ASU hockey team even has me fired up. We're talking more roster turnover between last year and this year than between, I don't know, Degrassi and Degrassi the next generation. It's Canadian, so's hockey. Whatever happens, it's going to be exciting. I think people understand that, and they're ready. So, Mal, look past me. Look around the studio. A lot of new faces here. This is the first show for many freshmen. What freshman Sun Devil athlete, however, is going to have a big impact this year on the field?
Jason, another great question, and we saw him on Saturday. It was JoJo Wicker, the defensive end for this Arizona State football team. If you're in Todd Graham's defense, chances are you're not going to start as a true freshman. JoJo comes in, he starts, doing a great job. Look out for him. 3 or 4 years, he could be the biggest player for Sun Devil football. Now, lastly, Jason, it was the first week of the late night show with Stephen Colbert. Did an amazing job. We saw him there. Kendrick Lamar, incredible performance. Now, if we could have one ASU athlete, of course, an incredibly rhetorical question, that could host a late night show, Jason, who would it be?
This is a rhetorical question? Oh, goodness. Now, a late show host needs to look great, sound great, and know what they're saying. So plenty of ASU athletes, they can do that. They're capable. Bianca Ariano, Mike Berkovici. Give me a guy who's already proven he can do it. The face of ASU hockey's promo videos, my occasional co-voice in the broadcast booth.
Wow.
Ryan Ostertag, Sun Devil Hockey. That man could host a show.
Oh, man, I don't know about that. All right, time to figure out who our winner is. Joey, who do you got?
I don't even have an IFB. It's me.
I guess it's you, Jay.
Who knew? ASU football, their big loss to Texas A&M, it was bad for a lot of people. One thing it is good at, helping us actually think about football. See, this loss, it doesn't fit any easy narratives. It doesn't go in any of the big hits and quarterbacks boxes that we try to put football in. This loss is on everyone. Burko didn't make it, he didn't break it, he was just part of a unit that didn't perform well enough. Same for everyone else. So when the wins start coming for ASU football, you know they will, you go to give Burko the key to Tempe. Remember, when he was just a helpless part of a team being crushed by the Aggies. Win or lose, football is a game about strategy and teamwork. And whether that makes for good talking points or not, it's just the way it is. What do you think, Matt?
I thought that was good.
Sound monologue?
Sometimes you give too much praise to the quarterback. Remember, it's a team sport.
We talk a lot about sports on this show. It's obviously our focal point. We talk a lot about heroes, winners, losers, but today on September 11th, we've got to remember there are things much bigger than that. Talk about legendary Sun Devils. None are bigger in my heart than the legendary Pat Tillman. Incredible Sun Devil, incredible human being. The first autograph I ever received, and someone I certainly hold dear in my heart on this day and any other.
Yeah, Jason, that's an incredible story. When you look at the landscape right now, professional athletes making news for completely horrible things, getting arrested, stuff like that. Pat Tillman was a true American hero. He gave up his football career, he gave up this glamorous football career, millions of dollars, to go out and serve the country. Of course, he was tragically lost, but just an incredible example, an incredible Sun Devil. So
today, on September 11th, as we should on every day, we salute and thank you, the late Mr. Tillman, and all those who serve.
That's all we got for our show today. We'll be back next week at 4 o'clock. Thanks for watching.